I'm Danish, I live in Copenhagen, and there are some things that you definitely need to know before visiting the Danish capital. Trust me, these tips will save you time and money, and they might even save you from getting yelled at by an angry Dane. Also, if you want to stay on good terms with the whole Danish population, make sure you hear the last tip. Unlike some European countries and capitals where the locals seem to be fed up with tourists, Copenhagen is different, and we actually like tourists here. We think it's kind of funny that you're coming to Denmark and to Copenhagen, so most of us want to help you have a good experience here in Copenhagen, and we all speak English. In fact, Denmark consistently ranks as one of the top English-speaking countries in the world where English isn't the first language. So you don't have to learn Danish, and I've also heard that it's pretty hard to learn, so don't bother. Look, we take our cycling serious here, and I'm not talking about the road cyclists like Bjarne Riis, Jonas Vingegaard and Mads P. What I mean is that the bike lanes in Copenhagen aren't cute little suggestions, they are basically highways for cyclists. Don't walk in them, don't take selfies in them, and definitely don't stop in them. Cyclists in Copenhagen are essentially on their way to work or picking up their kids, they're not on a cozy little bike ride. So when you're crossing the street, look both ways and look for both cars and bikes. Look, I get it, the Strøget, which is the main pedestrian street, is always mentioned in the guidebooks. But trust me on this, the real Copenhagen is in the neighborhoods like Vesterbro and Nørrebro or even Amager. These areas aren't just where the locals hang out, they are where Copenhagen's actual personality shines through. Let's take Vesterbro for example. 20 or 30 years ago nobody would recommend a tourist to go to Vesterbro, but now it's where you'll find the best cocktail bars, coolest coffee shops and the most interesting food in the city. And Nørrebro, it's like someone took all of Copenhagen's creativity and crammed it into one neighborhood. It would just be such a shame if you came all the way to Copenhagen and only saw the inner city area. Yes, Copenhagen is super safe, but let's not pretend that it's some kind of utopia where crime doesn't happen. Like any city, we have our moments. We got that gang-related shooting every now and then. We got pickpockets in the touristy areas. And of course, knife-related crime is also on the rise. That said, just use your normal big city common sense because Denmark is pretty safe compared to other places. Alright, let's be honest, compared to Rome or Paris or London, we don't have that many must-see sites, but that's a good thing. Because the magic of Copenhagen is in the moments between the tourist spots. I think this is why Copenhagen consistently ranks as one of the best places in the world to live. It's not about big attractions, it's about nice daily life. So when you come here, be prepared to just have a bloody good time where you don't have to rush around and tick like 19 different must-see sites off your list. Just come here and enjoy it. I'm just gonna say it guys, visiting Copenhagen in winter is like playing tourist roulette. If you come here from November to February, you can expect darkness, rain and more darkness. But come May to September though, and this city is pure magic. The whole place pretty much transforms, people are outside, the harbor is full of swimmers and the sun sets at around 10 in the evening. We have this saying here in Denmark that there isn't bad weather, there's only bad clothing. But the truth is that the weather is pretty damn bad in the winter. So I'd highly recommend not coming here in the winter period if you got the chance. Come the summer or the spring. I know it's on your list because every guidebook and AI generated travel blog has probably mentioned the Little Mermaid, but it's small, it's super crowded and it's way out of the way. Just Google a photo, then you've seen it. I've also made a whole video about what to do instead of seeing this tiny statue, so don't say I didn't warn you. Copenhagen is expensive, but here's a money-saving tip that us locals use to keep costs down. Grab a beer from a kiosk and hang out by the canals or in a park. It's completely legal and it's way cheaper than the bars, and honestly, this is just how most of us spend our summer evenings. So a cold beer from a kiosk would cost you from like 20 kroner, and in a bar you'll probably be paying 70 kroner these days. We are not like in Germany where everybody walks around with a beer 24/7, but it's pretty close, especially in the summertime. And you can drink legally everywhere, also in public transport except for the buses, but just respect the locals, don't be too loud and annoying please. And when you finish your beer or your soda in Copenhagen, don't throw the bottle or the can in the bin, place it next to the bin instead, because someone will come and collect it to get the deposit money that you get from these bottles and cans here in Denmark. See, we got this deposit system called pant, where every can and bottle has a refundable deposit. It's usually between 1 and 3 Danish kroner. So you get this back by returning them to recycling machines in supermarkets. And usually we Danes save our bottles at home and cash them in later, but when we're out and about, like, you don't want to walk around with 2 empty cans, so we just place them next to the bins and then some guy will come and collect them. It's kind of like this unspoken system that just works and then the money goes to people who actually need it. Also, consider subscribing to the channel for more insider tips on Copenhagen. Please guys, don't just jump in a taxi without checking your route to your hotel beforehand. The metro runs from the airport and takes just 13 minutes to the city center. I've made a whole video on the different modes of transport from the airport, but as a quick rule of thumb, the metro is probably your best bet. It costs only 36 kroner, about $5, runs 24/7 every couple of minutes and gets you straight to the city center. Download the DOT app for tickets for public transport. It's not the prettiest app you'll ever use, but it works and it's much faster than having to stand in line for the ticket machines. By the way, the city center is in zones 1 and 2 and the most major attractions fall within these 2 areas. A single ticket costs 24 Danish kroner and is valid for 75 minutes. And by the way, Copenhagen don't have ticket barriers, but that doesn't mean that the metro is free. There are random checks by ticket inspectors, so just buy the ticket. Service staff are actually paid proper wages here in Copenhagen. If you had amazing service and want to round up or leave a small tip, that's fine, but nobody expects it, and there's no percentage that you should tip. Also, your credit card or phone is all you need. I've basically not used cash since before the big event in 2020, and I've actually stopped bringing my wallet whenever I leave the house because I just pay with my phone with Apple Pay for everything here. I know some people really love cash, and I'm happy to inform you that you can use cash everywhere because there's a law that says that every place must accept cash. But there's no need, you can just use your contactless card or your phone. It's public transport by boat, guys. It's same ticket as the buses and the metro, but you're cruising through the harbour, so it's basically a cheap sightseeing tour. Let me warn you guys, because once you've had Danish pastries in Copenhagen, there's no turning back. It is a bit of a joke these years in my opinion, but people here go absolutely nuts for baked goods. It's quite crazy, but going to the good bakeries is a bit of a status symbol in Copenhagen these years. But to be fair, they are worth the hype, so just type in Copenhagen bakery in Google Maps or TikTok and you'll find the good spots pretty easily. Flæskesteg sandwich. Guys, just trust me on this. Remember the word flæskesteg sandwich. We Danes love to plan. We're not that spontaneous when it comes to eating out, so we book everything in advance. So that cute little place you walked past and thought, we'll just pop in for dinner, it's probably fully booked for that whole week. Most restaurants have super user-friendly websites with English booking systems, so just use them. And if all else fails, there's always the meatpacking districts where you can always find a place to eat. Those colorful buildings, gorgeous. The restaurants there, touristy places with prices that would make a Dane cry. So just take your photos, then go literally anywhere else to eat. For example, you can cross the bridge over to the street food market right across from Nyhavn. These are our old school pubs, where the ceiling is still stained yellow from decades of cigarette smoke, and the beer here is always cheap. So these places are cozy, classic, and a true Danish experience. Copenhagen is class, but it's not really representative for the rest of Denmark. It's like thinking New York City represents all of the US, for example. The rest of Denmark is different. Some places are quite charming, but it is different. You can be in Malmö over in Sweden in just 35 minutes. So it's like having a bonus country as a day trip option. Just remember my next point when you get back to Copenhagen. We have this funny love-hate relationship with Sweden. So if a Dane asks you about your trip over to Malmö or you've been to Sweden before, you better say, Sweden is quite nice, but not as nice as Denmark. And what about Norway? That's totally cool, we all love Norway. Guys, I've got so many Copenhagen videos coming up this spring and summer, so make sure you assault the subscribe button and let me know what you think about Copenhagen if you've been here before.